Hey everybody, welcome to Wrestling with Cruises. I'm Alex Abrahantes, and thanks so much for joining me once again here. I have a really exciting show planned for you. If this is your first time, this is a show that's all about great cruise conversation. I have the pleasure of chatting with a variety of different people that I've met throughout several years of cruising, and everyone has an amazing story. Everyone has an amazing backstory, and there's so much to talk about when it comes to cruising, whether it's the different itineraries, the different ships, the different things that you can do, the activities on board the cruise ships. So every episode is just so much fun, and I learn a whole bunch of stuff, and I hope that you do too. So if you have any questions about today's show, feel free to send them to me, and I'll do my best to read them live right on here. And each and every week I have a different guest. So make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to my channel so that you can get notified when we have upcoming episodes. So this particular show is going to feature an individual that I met on the Norwegian Encore inaugural, which seems like it was years ago because it's been such a long time since I've been able to be on a cruise ship that it just seems like, oh man, it seems like just such a long time how I miss cruising, but we'll be back to cruising someday in the near future. So this person was just so much fun to be around. She is really, truly the life of the party. She has so much enthusiasm and passion, and she created her very own brand called Be Fat, Be Happy. She's going to tell you all about that. It really is awesome, and she'll break down the word fat for you. It's not necessarily what you think. I had to ask her myself because I thought it was a great name, but I didn't know the true meaning behind it. So she's going to tell us here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Caitlin Sakinen. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Caitlin, how are you?
Good. How are you, Alex?
I am doing great. It's great to see you. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I just completely wiped you off the screen, but I promise I will get you back. Here we go.
Okay.
Nothing personal. Nothing personal. There we go. So it's great to see you. I know it's only virtually, but better to see you virtually than not at all. How have you been?
I've been good. It's obviously, I don't have to say it. It's been a crazy time, but all things considered, I've been great. And I agree. Virtually is good for now. You know,
Yeah,
it's like good to see just
absolutely.
another human being smiling and just gives me energy and joy. So
Yeah, it's so nice that we have this technology, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
it's horrible that this is happening, but thank goodness that we have this technology to be able to keep in touch and be able to interact with people and do things like this and have great conversations that, hopefully kind of everybody out there can appreciate and enjoy and feel like they're a part of. Because nowadays, I think this is really kind of the best way that we can, still kind of be social in a way. So I'm really glad that you can join me here today because I'm really excited to chat with you and hear about everything that you have going on. But I really would love if you could start off by telling us a little bit about your company, because when I first saw the name of your company, I'm like, that is such a great name. Holy cow, this is awesome. So I'd love if you could share with us how you came up with it, the true meaning behind it, and what you currently are doing.
Of course. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is so exciting. But yeah, so Be Fat, Be Happy. Where did that start? I mean, if we're going to be transparent, it really was, I was a kid that had always loved to eat, and maybe I was a little chubby, I had some baby fat, and I really didn't even think anything of it when I started this personal blog. It was really just supposed to be a personal page of an archive of everywhere that I was eating. And cool. Places that I love to eat. And when I realized that this could be a business, and I started thinking about what do I want this to be, I had realized that FAT really is an acronym for food and travel.
That's great.
And that's
so smart.
Everything that my blog is about, and how food and travel makes me happy, and it makes a lot of other people happy. So, there's just something very specific about those two things that go hand in hand together, right? When you travel, you want to be able to try new foods and like dive into a culture through food. And that's really what Be Fat, Be Happy has really been about for the past 4 years now. And it's been a really, really fun ride. It's been an evolving and growing kind of personal brand and business. I have about 100,000 followers now and growing. and yeah, it's really just, I call it a journey. And I always say to everyone, so this is my kind of slogan, but it's my mission in life is we have to stay hungry. And I say stay hungry for different meanings. I think we have to stay hungry to feed our appetite for experiences that we all love and enjoy. Feed your soul to keep learning and growing about the world around us, and then feed others. That's just something that's really important to me. I think everyone deserves to be fed and have a full tummy and a full life. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's fantastic. I love that story. I think it's so cool, so inspirational. And did you start this initially as a blog and then it just kind of spun off, or did you start it as social media and then it kind of turned into a blog?
So I started as social media. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
It turned into a blog. Yeah. So I downloaded it. I was one of those kind of early Instagrammers where it didn't have much traction, and then I just kept going with it. And then when Instagram really picked up, I realized, maybe this isn't just social media. Maybe this could be something more. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So how have you been doing the past couple months? Obviously, we've been quarantining. Traveling has been challenging for all of us that love to do it so much. And then obviously, I know you're always out and about experiencing these incredible different foods. Your Instagram page is fantastic. So how have things kind of changed for you, and what have you been doing to kind of keep yourself busy?
So it has been a full-on shift, because a large majority of my business and my life revolved around, like you said, food and travel experiences. And most of my food experiences were, even if I wasn't traveling outside of where I live, I was going out in New York City and reviewing different restaurants and just showing my followers different food experiences outside of their home. And then quarantine happened, right? And all of that kind of halted. But I gratefully was kind of able to shift, and my followers have graciously and loyally followed me along this journey. And I've done a lot of cooking at home, which honestly, Alex, I've always loved to do, but I've never had the most time for. And I tell people I'm not a chef, and I don't think I ever will be a chef. I mean, maybe it's in my cards, but I don't think so. But you don't have to be a chef to cook great things at home. And cooking can be fun, it can be simple, it can be easy, and it can still be delicious. So that's kind of been like how I have pivoted and kept busy, is that I've been doing a lot of cooking at home. I've spent a lot of time with my family, which I haven't been able to do because I travel so often. So it's been nice to be able to do that. And then I've been doing a lot of social media consulting online, and it's, I guess, like you said, the joys of technology. That I've been able to pivot and really kind of transfer over my business into a different side.
Well, that's fantastic. And it's great that you can be so nimble and be able to kind of adapt to any type of environment. And that's, again, why I love technology so much, because we have the ability to, adapt with the times and kind of modify the things that we do to be able to continue to create content and, continue to do the things that we need to do and get work done. So, kudos to you for being able to do that. And I too am a chef. I've mastered the microwave. So I can pretty much heat anything up, I can go to the pizza setting or, just any type of setting. So I've got that down.
I'm sure you can do a little more. But doesn't that it makes you appreciate eating out more, right?
100%.
And when you have to cook something for yourself, or even like I've been doing at-home cocktails, right? That people don't realize people always gripe about cocktails being expensive. But they don't realize that there's work that goes into it, or like things happening in the food and drink world. It makes you appreciate it more when you have to do it yourself. So
good point. And, it's funny, you talked about cocktails, and we actually had a chance to participate in a class that taught us how to do that. So let's kind of shift into that, because I had mentioned at the very top of the show that we met on the Encore during one of the inaugurals, and I'll just back up for any of the new viewers. So Norwegian invited a group of us to participate when they were launching one of their latest ships, the Encore, and that's where Caitlin and I met a variety of great other people. It was so much fun to meet, all these awesome people with all these different experiences, and we had all of these itineraries kind of planned for us of things that we can do on the ship. So let's start chatting about some of the great things that we did, and one of which was there was like a bespoke class, right? Where we got to make a
Yes.
cocktail. I don't drink, but I remember sitting there and having fun watching you guys do it and have a great conversation with a couple people there.
Yeah, it was a bespoke cocktail class, and they had one of their, I guess, head mixologists of Norwegian come and teach us how to make a bunch of different cocktails. One of them, oh gosh, the name, I think it was like a butter something butterfly pea cocktail, where it's really cool when you add it's a flower that is blue, and when you add any type of citrus it turns purple. And so we got to make really cool cocktails that changed colors, and it was all just with different ingredients, which was really amazing. And I actually stepped behind the bar, and it was really empowering actually to be the one behind the bar having the power to give someone a cocktail. So it was a fun experience.
Yeah, it was really a lot of fun. Everybody enjoyed it, and it was so different and unique. And it's interesting because you were telling me this was your first cruise experience, right? You hadn't cruised before this?
Yeah. No, never.
Oh, this is so cool.
Before this. Yeah,
so
and it was certainly.
I want to ask you first, before you tell me what it was like, what was your, I guess, preconceived notion about cruising before this?
Transparently, I didn't have the highest expectation or opinion of cruises because I've always loved the idea of being somewhere and being able to go off on a whim and like do things on my own. And so the thought of being confined or constrained, my preconceived notion scared me a little bit. I'll be honest.
Oh, you know what's so funny is I really honestly truly believe that that's one of the, if not the number one reason why people don't cruise, because they have this fear of confinement and they're stuck, right? And that was honestly, that was my hesitation first. Like I heard cruising was great for so many years before I did it. And I've had family members that have cruised and friends. And I just always thought to myself, oh, you know what? I'm just going to take like a 3-day cruise because if it's bad, I know it's only 3 days. But then immediately after that experience, I'm like, this is the greatest thing. And I booked a 7-day cruise like right after that because it was so much fun. So tell me about now that you went on the ship, tell me what the experience was like and I guess what your thoughts are about cruising now.
First of all, the experience was incredible. There is so much to do and so much to eat on a cruise ship.
So
it's
true.
Wild.
Yeah.
It feels like the possibilities are endless and it's just exciting. So it's honestly the exact opposite of that feeling that I had before going. And I was a skeptic before going. It was, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And then I get on there and I was blown away by one, I think the quality of everything that we got to experience. It was really just such high quality and everyone was so nice. The food was great. The entertainment was wonderful. And then just like I was saying, the possibilities, it was amazing.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of those. Let's talk about the entertainment first, because the Encore had, in my opinion, 2 of the best shows that I've ever seen at sea. And we got a chance to see both of them. So tell me, let's talk about Choir of Man first, because that was your first time seeing it. I had seen it on another Norwegian ship, but it was in a smaller dinner theater room. And then this one was actually in the big theater. So tell me what you thought about Choir of Man.
Choir of Man was just vibrant and energetic. And it just like you left there feeling alive. I feel like
Good point.
That's how I feel. You just wanted to sing along and you were moving your hips. You just wanted to dance with them and be with them on stage, which, by the way, I don't know about now during COVID, but when we were there beforehand, you can go up on stage and just hang out with them as if you're like in a pub or bar, which I thought was one of the coolest kind of features of that show before the show even started.
Yeah, it was so great. They made it seem like an actual bar, and you can just go up and they give you kind of a beer and you just hang out there, and there's so much audience interaction, which was really a lot of fun. And then you're right, it made you feel like you're live. I remember downloading the album immediately after I left there. And it just came on shuffle the other day. I'm like, oh man, this is such a great album. Their music is great. It's a lot of pop songs. If
you're ever in a bad mood, I think that's one of the albums to put on. It'll just immediately lift up your energy and boost your mood.
No doubt. And then the other one that I say is very similar in that capacity is Kinky Boots. I had no idea what to expect, but boy, that was an awesome musical.
It really was wonderful. The entire cast was impeccable, like absolutely impeccable. And I've seen a lot of I'm not an aficionado by any means, but I've seen a lot of Broadway shows, and that one really blew me away. And transparently, I may have cried a little bit because it was really good.
It was so good. There was no doubt about it.
It was emotional. Yeah, it was emotional at certain parts for sure. So.
Yeah, and so much fun. Like I remember the music there also being so good, and the singing was excellent, and it was just so well done that I cannot wait to see it again.
Yeah, that's one of those shows that I think after all of this is over, I really, really do want to see again.
Great point. So let's shift gears and talk about the other type of entertainment, the type that we can interact on the ship with. So I'm talking about some of the fun stuff that we got a chance to do. And I know you didn't get a chance to do laser tag, which was a blast, but you did get a chance to do the go-karts, and we had a lot of fun with those.
We did. And even so when we did the inaugural, it was pretty cold. It was November, and we still had a blast doing the go-karting. That felt, and I honestly forgot I was on a ship doing that.
So true. Yeah, it's a really great point. Yeah, you totally do, because it's, first off, the Encore has the biggest one at sea. So initially when it came out on the Bliss, it was great, but then they extended it on the Encore, so it's the longest one at sea. But the carts go so fast, and you're right, you totally get lost. And I know I had my share of a near misses because I was going so quick, but you really get into it, right?
Yeah, you do. And the fact that certain parts are outdoor makes you really feel like you're immersed into the go-karting scene, because I feel like most go-karting places are all indoor and they're pretty much just circles. You're going around in a circle, but this is really, really interactive, and it was fun. Yeah,
it was a blast. It's one of my favorite things, the go-karting. I mean, kudos to whoever thought about that on a cruise ship. It's just, it's a blast. And it I forget how long we were out there, but they give you a decent amount because the track is really big.
Yeah, I think... Is it half an hour? I mean, I could be misquoting it, but it felt like at least half an hour.
Yeah, it was awesome. So that was a lot of fun. Now, let's talk about one of your favorite things, as is one of my favorite things, is the food on the ship, because we were taking pictures galore. We were fortunate enough to go to a variety of different restaurants. Now, do you remember which restaurants you went to?
Yes. So I'll be honest, the names escape me a little bit, but I remember there was kind of an Asian fusion restaurant, and they had ramen, they had sushi and dumplings. And Food
Republic.
Food Republic, yes. And that experience was incredible. One, because you could just order everything on an iPad. So technology, great. And then you order on an iPad, and then everything comes out to you, and it's all fresh and really, really great. And then we also, the two of us specifically, we went to a Mexican restaurant and had tableside guacamole. Oh man. And then the queso. Yeah, you already know how that I still rave to people this day and say that is some of the best tableside guacamole that I've ever had. And we had, I think everyone at the table, if I recall correctly, kind of had something different. And then we had the desserts, and it was just such an incredible meal. So Los Lobos is the name of it, and that was one of my favorite dining experiences on NCL. I can't wait to go back to that. Yeah, Los Lobos was incredible. Even, and honestly, and it was my first time on a cruise, like you all know now, doing the buffet and all of those different options with the make your own pasta station. I went there 3 times. Yeah. And I made different pastas every time, and I enjoyed every single one of them. So
I'm with you. The pasta stations, and that hands down, the buffet on the Encore, and it's very similar to the Bliss and the Joy, they're out of this world. And I don't know what the buffet is going to look like moving forward, but man, it is just so spacious, and there's so many different dining options that I loved it. I really hope that we get a chance to continue to do the buffet, because boy, I thought it was awesome. And so much space too, right?
Yeah. Yes, so much space. I will remain hopeful that we will be able to do that again.
Same here. I think, a lot of people do that. Again, I think that it's one of those things that once you experience at sea on a cruise ship, you're kind of blown away by how amazing the experience is. And then the fact that the seating is so great, because there's so much, and you're right there by the windows, so you can enjoy the outside while you're having a meal. It's just, man, I miss it a lot. So in addition to the buffet, we had a chance to have food from different restaurants brought in. right? We went to one of the main dining halls, and we had like a sampler. So Norwegian gave us kind of like a prefixed menu where it was just little tastes of different restaurants. Do you remember that particular meal?
Yes, I do. I remember we tried some stuff from Onda, which was incredible. They're
Yep.
modern Italian. And then we also had more things from Los Lobos. Those empanadas were fire.
Oh my gosh, the
So good. You remember
empanadas.
the empanadas? Yeah.
Yes,
You remember
absolutely. Are you kidding me? Those empanadas are out of this world.
so
I went back in February on the Norwegian Sun, and they revamped it. And one of the restaurants that they put on there was Los Lobos. So I was super excited. Man, I ate so much. I got, both the empanadas or whatever. I got the guacamole.
Oh, so jealous.
It was just out of this world good.
Because they're
So,
light and crispy on the outside and flaky and then just filled with deliciousness on the inside. Oh. And then if you dip it in the guac,
oh yeah, that's right. That's
I'm
right. Yeah.
dreaming about it now.
I know, it's so good, right? I'm trying to see if I happen to have any photos available that I can bring up, because it just takes you back when you see these pictures. And to me, I love taking photo pictures because that's exactly what it does for me personally. Do you have that same type of feeling?
Yeah, because it brings back the memories. That's why I started taking photos of food in the first place, is because I want to see the photo and I'm like, oh, I remember that meal, and I can remember specific details about like who I was with and how I felt eating something. It's really about like the story. Here, look, I don't know if you can see it on my screen or if it's too bright, but I found the empanadas. It may be too bright. Hold on. This may not happen, but here we go.
Can you bring
You
it a
can
little
see
bit
it.
closer to your face?
Oh, to my face. Yeah,
Yeah, there we go. Oh man. Yeah, I remember that.
Like
It was
the opening.
yeah, I remember we had this whole thing. So picture, I don't know, there must have been 10 of us at this table. And then everyone is like helping each other take pictures because we all want to get the perfect shot. So I remember, I think it was you or Dara opening up the empanada, and then we were all like taking pictures. We're like, hold on. And then we're like, does everyone have the picture? Yeah. Okay, we can eat now. We can eat now.
Yeah.
That was
And
so
that's
much
why
fun.
I always say that food bloggers have the best arm workouts, because we're always holding food for a while so that everyone can get the shot and make sure that everyone has what they need.
And the best multitaskers too, right? Because you got to hold the light, and then you got to take the picture, find the right angle. So yeah, we definitely get our workout in being flexible. That's for sure. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was
Yeah.
a good meal.
That was a great meal. There's no doubt about it, man. That was it was so cool to be able to try so many different things from restaurants. And then the cool thing is that then we knew what we liked, so we knew, moving forward, what we should order at the restaurants. So
Right.
so what else do you remember from the cruise experience on the Encore that maybe kind of surprised you or that you weren't expecting?
So I remember specifically a lot of the VR games and
That's right.
capabilities blew
Yeah.
my mind away. I
Yeah.
felt like I was in another universe with some of those games. So there was one where it's like a box, and then there's just a slight kind of maze, and you're moving through and you have the VR goggles
That's
on,
right.
but I
Yeah.
felt like I was in another universe, and I was moving around in probably a circle. I probably looked ridiculous, but in my head, I was fighting off aliens and trying to make my way through. So
Yeah, that was so much fun. The Galaxy VR Pavilion. And did you do the one where I think it's called Walk the Plank? And you had to, so basically what happens is you put on the goggles and there is a board on the ground, like a 2x4, and you stand on it. And then you go into this world and you get elevated on the very top of like a skyscraper. And then you have to save the cat that's at the end of the plank. Do you remember
I was
that?
stressed. Oh, I was so stressed.
That was tough. That was tough. That was so much fun. I remember though, you're not given any instructions. And that's kind of what's so cool about VR. You kind of have to figure it out on your own. So I just remember walking and then being like, okay, I'm close to the cat, but what do I do now? And so it took me a split second. I'm like, well, in real life, I would bend down and pick up the cat and walk back. So that's kind of what I did. I had to like squat to kind of not lose my balance and then pick up the cat and then walk back, and I won. And I'm like, oh my God, it was like so thrilling.
Yeah, that's like, and it just feels like you just won the day. And I
Oh,
fully
absolutely.
agree.
Anytime you could save a cat from a skyscraper is definitely a win.
Even if it's a virtual one.
Exactly. And then there was all these other games like, did you do the soccer one where it was more of an interactive one where so there was what was it? Just like a cutout of a person, and then you would have to try to get the soccer ball past them?
Yes, past the goalie, and I did not accomplish that, but that's fine. It was still fun regardless.
I'm with you. I tried so many times and there was no way that I can get the ball past this person. And I'm like, how am I being beat by a computer? And I did everything to try to fake this thing out. Like I was like, all right, I'm going to go this way and then hit it that way. Didn't matter. Did not matter. I definitely did not feel like a winner after that particular experience, but it was fun nonetheless. It was still a good time.
It's always good to be humbled every now and then.
For sure. So yeah, the Galaxy VR Pavilion, I'm with you. That was, it was completely unexpected. I did it on the Bliss because that was the first ship that came out with it. And then I did it on the Joy, but then they revamped it. And it was just, man, there was so much fun. Like, did you do any of the, there are like vehicles, like you can get into a Jeep?
Yeah. Oh, those are my favorites.
Oh, I did the hang gliding one and I had to get off. I couldn't handle it. It was way too much.
Oh, I don't think I did that one.
Yeah, so that you lay down and then it's like you're hang gliding. And it was just way too intense for me. I was like, yeah, I can't do it. And then they have a fan that blows at you, which makes it even more intense. So that one was a little bit too rough.
I may have gotten queasy if I did that. So
yeah, that was it. I was like, no, I'm done. I closed my eyes and I'm like, sorry, I'm walking away to this one. But it's pretty amazing the things that you can do with VR. So I'm with you. Yeah. That Galaxy VR Pavilion is on another level of like, how did they do this? And on a cruise ship.
Right. I think that's what also made, if I think about it now, I think that's what made the go-karting even more fun for me, is because I did the VR race first, and then you feel yourself shaking. You feel like you're on the ground actually driving something and bumping into people.
Right.
So I channel that energy into go-kart.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome. So how has your opinion now changed about cruising? And then would you cruise now again, knowing this awesome experience that you just had?
As soon as it is safe to do so, I will be on a cruise. And I mean that. It's one of those things that I really enjoyed that. When was that? The end of November? And we didn't even go anywhere.
Right.
And
yeah.
I can only imagine actually going somewhere and experiencing it for the first time. I may do what you did and try out the 3 days first, just because obviously when we did that, we were stationary and so we weren't moving. But then I have a feeling I'm going to love it and I'm going to want to go longer. So. Yeah.
Well, what I would say is, knowing what you told us, it's kind of the perfect marriage for you, because not only obviously do you get the great experience on the ship, but then when you get to the ports, it's incredible because you get to experience travel and you get to see these incredible places and have all these wonderful experiences. But then you can also enjoy the cuisine and kind of feel out the culture of wherever you are. So that's why, I just love cruises. And it's just, I always like to joke around and say that when you're going on a cruise, it's like you're getting an appetizer of each stop, each island, if you will. And then like, if you like it, you can always go back and spend more time. So you get to see so much in such a short amount of time. And I think that's part of the reason why I love the experience so much and why I'm so passionate of it, because you get so much accomplished in, whatever amount of time, let's say 7 days, than you would if you kind of tried to do everything on your own.
Right. If I have to think about it in meal form, it's like you're having a bunch of tapas and you're just enjoying around the table, getting to experience all these different things. And then like you said, and then you know what you like and then what you want to do moving forward. And then you can then invest more time afterwards. So. No doubt about it. Now, where would you want to go in terms of itinerary? Have you given that any type of thought? Honestly, I really do want to go to the Caribbean because I haven't been since I was a kid. I've been focused. A lot of my travel as an adult has been focused on Europe and Asia, and it's all been wonderful, but I haven't been to the Caribbean and actually experienced it in a long time. So I think that would be fun, and I love the beach, so. Oh, well, yeah, you'll love it. And the great thing about the Caribbean is you've got so many different options. You could go Western, you can go Eastern, you can go Southern, and there's just so much to see. And there's great places to just go. Even if you just go to Norwegian's private island, if you love the beach,
on a whole other level. It's just so relaxing and so well done that I think it'd be perfect for you. So, when you're ready to book, let me know, and I'll give you some advice about all the ports and whatnot, because you really can't go wrong in so many different places. But there are some places that I enjoy just a little bit more than others. So happy to help guide you. I think you're gonna love it.
I will 100% reach out to you.
Very cool. Well, listen, thank you so much. I can't believe a half hour has already flown by. It's amazing how quickly it goes. But why don't you tell everybody where we can find you here? Let me throw up the graphic here on the screen again so that everyone knows where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, of course. So you can see it at the bottom. I am Be Fat, Be Happy on Instagram. That is my main platform. That's probably where I post the most often. But then I have all of the other socials if you want to follow me there too. I have Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all of the fun things. But yeah, Be Fat, Be Happy. That's my handle everywhere. That's where you'll find me online. And
I can guarantee that you will be hungry after checking out Caitlin's social media, because I think it's impossible not to be. So you do a fantastic job.
Thanks, Alex. And thanks for having me again. This was so fun. I can't believe 30 minutes went by like that.
I know. It's amazing. Time flies when you're having fun. So thanks again, Caitlin. I really appreciate it. It was great reconnecting with you, and everyone out there, make sure to give Caitlin a follow, and you won't be disappointed. So thanks for joining us here. It was a blast as always, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week right here on Wrestling with Cruises. Take care, everybody.